Commander Zalthor stood on the bridge of his warship. His ship was massive. It was 10 miles long. The ship had weapons that could destroy planets. Behind him, 50 more ships waited. They were all part of the Zalthari Empire. The Empire ruled the galaxy. They conquered 1,000 planets. Every species feared them. Every world bowed to their power. Now they were coming for Earth. "Sir, we are approaching the human territory," said the navigator. Zalthor smiled. He looked at the small blue planet on his screen. Earth. Such a tiny world. The humans lived there. They were weak. They had no real weapons. They had no empire. They were nothing. Humans? Zalthor laughed. They still use chemical rockets. They barely left their own moon. This will be easy. His crew laughed with him. They had fought mighty warriors before. They had destroyed advanced civilizations. Humans were just primitives. This would be their fastest conquest ever. Suddenly, a message appeared on the screen. "Stop. Turn back. This is your only warning." The message was simple. It was in their language. Someone had translated it perfectly. Zalthor stared at the message. His smile faded. Then he laughed again. Louder this time. "A warning? From humans?" he said. "They dare to warn us? Sir, should we respond?" asked his communications officer. "No," Zalthor said. "Ignore it. Full speed ahead." The officer looked worried. "Sir, perhaps we should." "I said ignore it," Zalthor shouted. "We are the Zalthari Empire. We do not take orders from primitives." The fleet moved forward. They crossed into human space. Nothing happened. No attacks. No resistance. Just empty space. "See," Zalthor said. "They are cowards. They sent a warning but do nothing." But something felt wrong. The bridge was quiet. Too quiet. The crew watched their sensors carefully. "Sir," said the sensor officer, "I'm detecting something strange." "What is it?" Zalthor asked. "I don't know, sir. The sensors show nothing. But I feel like we're being watched." Zalthor walked to the window. He looked out into space. Stars. Darkness. Nothing else. But the officer was right. Something did feel wrong. "Run a deep scan," he ordered. The sensors swept the area. Nothing. No ships. No weapons. No life signs. Just empty space. "All clear, sir," the officer reported. But Zalthor wasn't satisfied. Where were the humans? Why did they send a warning but not defend their territory? "Send 3 scout ships ahead," he ordered. "Let them check the area." 3 small ships broke away from the fleet. They flew forward, deeper into human space. Their engines glowed bright blue in the darkness. On the bridge, everyone watched the screens. The scout ships sent back data. Everything looked normal. No dangers. No traps. Scout 1 reporting. "Area is clear." Scout 2 reporting. "No contacts. All quiet." Scout 3 reporting. "Nothing here but." The transmission cut off. Scout 3 report. Zalthor shouted. Silence. On the screen, Scout 3's signal disappeared. Just gone. No explosion. No distress call. The ship was just erased. "What happened?" Zalthor demanded. "I don't know, sir. The ship just vanished." "Check for debris. Check for..." Scout 2's signal disappeared. Then Scout 1 went dark. 3 ships. Gone in seconds. Not destroyed. Not damaged. Just gone. The bridge erupted in chaos. Officers shouted. Alarms blared. Everyone talked at once. "Silence." Zalthor roared. Everyone stopped. They looked at their commander. Fear showed in their eyes now. These were veteran soldiers. They had fought in 100 battles. But they had never seen ships disappear like this. "Sensor scan. Maximum range. Find those ships." Zalthor ordered. The sensors swept space again and again. Nothing. The 3 scout ships were completely gone. "Sir," the science officer said quietly, "I found something." "What?" "A residual energy signature. Very faint. Very advanced. It's not like any technology we know." "Where is it?" "It's everywhere, sir. All around us. We're surrounded." Zalthor felt cold. Surrounded? By what? There was nothing on the sensors. Then he understood. The humans were here. They were watching. They were waiting. And they were using technology the Empire couldn't even detect. "Sir, what are your orders?" asked his second-in-command. Zalthor stared at the empty space ahead. The warning message still glowed on his screen. "Turn back. This is your only warning. He should retreat. He should report this to the Emperor." But if he turned back now he would look weak. He would look like a coward. We continue forward, Zalthor said. Battle stations. All ships, maximum alert. If the humans want a fight, we'll give them one. The fleet moved deeper into human space. Behind them in the darkness something moved. Something watched. Something waited. The humans had given their warning. The Empire had ignored it. Now they would learn why that was a mistake. 3 hours passed. Commander Zalthor's fleet moved deeper into human territory. Nothing attacked them. The crew started to relax. Maybe the humans are just hiding, one officer said. Maybe they ran away, another laughed. But Zalthor didn't laugh. He remembered those 3 scout ships. They didn't run away. They didn't hide. They just vanished. Stay alert, he ordered. Something is wrong here. His fleet spread out across space. 50 massive warships. Each one could destroy a city with one shot. Together they were unstoppable. Or so they thought. Sir. Ship 7 reports strange readings. Zalthor turned to his screen. Ship 7 was on the left side of the formation. It was a heavy cruiser with thick armor and powerful shields. What kind of readings? He asked. Unknown energy signature. Very close. They're trying to. Ship 7 exploded. Not a small explosion. The entire ship burst into flames. Metal twisted. Glass shattered. The explosion lit up space like a new sun. What happened? Zalthor shouted. I don't know. Sensors showed nothing. No weapons fire. No incoming missiles. The ship just. Ship 12 exploded. Then Ship 23. Then Ship 31. 4 ships. Gone in 30 seconds. Panic spread across the fleet. Ships broke formation. Some tried to run. Others fired their weapons at empty space. Hold position. Zalthor screamed. All ships report. What are you seeing? Nothing, sir. Sensors are clear. There's nothing out there. We're firing blind. Another ship exploded. Then another. The Empire's mighty fleet was being torn apart by an invisible enemy. Activate all scanners. Maximum power. Zalthor ordered. The sensors burned hot. They searched every inch of space. And then, they found something. Small. Fast. Close. Very, very close. Sir. Contact. 500 meters off our port side. Fire everything. Zalthor shouted. 100 guns turned and fired. Lasers. Missiles. Plasma cannons. Everything. The weapons tore through space, and hit nothing. The contact moved. It was too fast. It dodged every shot like it knew where they would fire before they did. And then, it appeared. The stealth technology shut off. A ship materialized in front of them. It was small. Maybe 1/10 the size of Zalthor's warship. It was dark gray with sharp angles. No decorations. No paint. Just pure function. A human destroyer. One ship. Zalthor couldn't believe it. One tiny ship did all this? The human ship didn't respond. It just moved. Fast. Impossibly fast. It flew past 3 Empire ships. As it passed it fired. 3 shots. 3 explosions. 3 ships destroyed. How is it so fast? The pilot screamed. All ships. Focus fire on that destroyer. Take it down. Zalthor ordered. 10 Empire ships turned their weapons on the human vessel. They fired together. Thousands of weapons lit up space. The human ship danced between the shots. It spun. It rolled. It moved like a living thing. Not one shot touched it. Then it fired back. The human weapons were different. They didn't use lasers or plasma. They used solid metal. Railguns. They fired metal slugs at incredible speeds. The slugs punched through Empire shields like they were paper. They tore through armor like it was cloth. Boom, boom, boom. 3 more Empire ships exploded. Its shields. Target its shields. Zalthor ordered. A lucky shot hit the human ship. Finally. The beam struck its side. Nothing happened. The human shields absorbed the hit. They didn't even flicker. Impossible. Zalthor whispered. The human ship turned toward his flagship. For a moment, Zalthor saw it clearly through his window. It was beautiful in a deadly way. Clean. Efficient. Perfect. A message appeared on his screen. From the human ship. You were warned. Then the human destroyer fired. Not at his ship. At the engines of the ship next to him. The Empire cruiser's engines exploded. The ship spun out of control. It crashed into another ship. Both exploded in a massive fireball. Zalthor realized something terrible. The humans weren't trying to kill him. They were sending a message. They were showing him what they could do. They were playing with his fleet. All ships, retreat. Fall back to the border, he shouted. The Empire fleet turned and ran. The mighty Zalthari Empire, running from one human ship. The human destroyer didn't follow. Just watched them go. Of the 50 ships that entered human space, only 35 escaped. 15 ships destroyed. 300,000 soldiers dead. All by one human vessel. Back at the Empire capital, 3 days later, Emperor Tsar then sat on his throne. He was old, powerful. He had ruled for 50 years. He had never lost a battle. Commander Zalthor knelt before him. His uniform was burned. His face was pale. Explain, the Emperor said quietly. Your Majesty, the humans, they are not what we thought. You lost 15 ships to primitives? They're not primitives, my lord. Their technology is beyond ours. Their ships are faster. Their weapons are stronger. They're... Enough. The Emperor stood up. His voice echoed in the throne room. You are telling me that the Zalthari Empire, rulers of 1,000 worlds, cannot defeat one species of primitives? My lord, if you had seen what I saw. I see a coward, the Emperor said coldly. He gestured. Guards grabbed Zalthor. Take him away. My lord, please. Listen to me. The humans are dangerous. We need to. The guards dragged him out. His screams faded. Emperor Tsar then sat back down. He looked at his military advisor. Prepare the Grand Fleet, he said. 500 ships. Our best admiral. Our finest soldiers. Yes, my emperor. And send a message to these humans. What should it say, my lord? The emperor smiled. A cold, cruel smile. Tell them, we're coming. Admiral Corvan was the Empire's greatest warrior. He had conquered 40 planets. He had destroyed 20 rebellions. He had never lost a battle. Never. Now he stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Destroyer of Worlds. Behind him, 500 warships waited. The largest fleet the Empire had sent in 10 years. Admiral, all ships ready, his officer reported. Corvan nodded. He looked at the star map. There a small yellow star. Sol. The human home system. Humans, he said quietly. They got lucky once. They ambushed a small fleet. Now they will face real power. His crew cheered. They believed in him. They trusted him. He had never let them down. Set course for human space. Maximum speed, Corvan ordered. The fleet jumped to faster-than-light travel. They would reach human territory in 2 days. 2 days later they arrived. The moment they entered human space, alarms went off. Sir. Detecting debris field ahead. Corvan looked at his screen. Wreckage. Lots of wreckage. Ship parts. Metal. Bodies floating in space. That's Commander Zalthor's fleet, the science officer said quietly. The remains of 15 destroyed ships drifted in the darkness. The Empire had left them there. A reminder of their defeat. But something was wrong. Sir? The debris, it's been moved. What? Corvan stepped closer to the screen. The wreckage wasn't random. It was arranged. Organized. The pieces formed shapes. Letters. Words. In the Empire's own language, written in broken ships and dead bodies, a message floated in space. We warned you. The bridge went silent. Every officer stared at the screen. The humans had taken the wreckage and made it into a message. A threat. A promise. Savages, Corvan whispered. But his hands shook slightly. Sir, orders? His second-in-command asked. Corvan straightened his back. He was a warrior. He would not be afraid. Forward. Find the nearest human colony. We will show them what happens when they challenge the Empire. The fleet moved deeper into human space. They found the first colony 3 hours later. Sir, detecting a settlement on the 3rd planet. Population, 20,000 humans. Perfect, Corvan smiled. Prepare orbital bombardment. Destroy it. But when they got closer, something was wrong. Sir, there's no one there. What? The colony is empty. Buildings are intact. Power is running. But no life signs. They're gone. Corvan felt uneasy. They evacuated. They knew we were coming. How could they know, sir? Good question. How did they know? Move to the next colony. Quickly. They found the 2nd colony. Also empty. And the 3rd. Empty. They're running, an officer said. They're afraid of us. But Corvan wasn't so sure. This felt wrong. Like a trap. Sir. 4th colony ahead. I'm reading life signs. 30,000 humans. Finally, Corvan said. Battle formation. Prepare to attack. The fleet moved into position. Corvan's ship led the way. They entered orbit around the colony world. Fire. Corvan ordered. The fleet fired. 100 beams of energy shot down toward the planet. Suddenly, explosions erupted all around the fleet. Space mines. Hidden in orbit. Invisible to sensors until activated. Boom, boom, boom. 20 Empire ships exploded in the first 10 seconds. Shields up. Evasive maneuvers. Corvan shouted. The fleet scattered. More mines exploded. The humans had turned the entire orbit into a minefield. Sir. Ground-based weapons firing. From the planet's surface, massive railguns fired. Solid metal slugs, each one the size of a car, shot up into space. They struck Empire ships with devastating force. Shields collapsed. Armor cracked. Ships broke apart. Return fire. Destroy those guns. Corvan ordered. The fleet fired everything at the planet. The ground guns were destroyed. But the damage was done. 30 ships lost. In minutes. And then the humans on the ground disappeared. They escaped through underground tunnels. By the time Empire soldiers landed, the colony was empty again. Cowards. Corvan screamed. They set a trap and ran. Over the next week, the same thing happened 5 more times. Empty colonies. Traps. Mines. Hidden weapons. The humans would fight just long enough to hurt the Empire fleet, then vanish. Corvan won every battle. He took every colony. But each victory cost him ships. Each planet cost him soldiers. Of his 500 ships, only 250 remained. Sir, his officer said carefully, perhaps we should request reinforcements. No. Corvan slammed his fist on the console. We are the Grand Fleet. We do not need help to defeat primitives. But sir, we've lost half our forces and we haven't even reached Earth yet. Corvan knew he was right. But he couldn't stop now. If he went back, the Emperor would execute him like Zalthor. We continue, he said. Set course for Earth. We'll attack their home world directly. Yes, sir. The fleet turned toward Sol. Toward Earth. Toward the heart of human space. They traveled for 3 days. Corvan expected more traps. More ambushes. But nothing happened. Space was quiet. Empty. Peaceful. Too peaceful. Sir. We're approaching Earth's system. Finally. The human home world. Once he destroyed it, this war would be over. All ships, battle formation. Prepare for. Sir. Contacts. Massive contacts. Corvan spun to look at the sensors. Ships. Hundreds of them. No. Thousands. The entire human fleet had appeared. They were waiting. Right at the edge of their home system. But that wasn't what made Corvan's blood run cold. It was the power readings. Each human ship, each single destroyer, had energy signatures equal to 5 Empire ships. How many? He whispered. 100 human capital ships, sir. Plus 200 destroyers. Plus, I'm reading orbital platforms around Earth. Weapons platforms on the moons. Everything is armed. Corvan did the math quickly. His 250 ships against 300 human ships. But if each human ship was worth 5 of his, they were outnumbered 5 to 1. A message appeared on his screen. From the human fleet. A face appeared. A human. An admiral by the uniform. Older. Gray hair. Hard eyes. I am Admiral Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. You were warned. You ignored it. You attacked our colonies. You killed our people. Now, you pay the price. The human fleet began to move forward. Corvan watched them come. For the first time in his life, Admiral Corvan, the undefeated warrior, felt true fear. Admiral Corvan stared at the human fleet. His mouth went dry. His hands trembled. 250 Empire ships against 300 human vessels. The numbers were bad. But the power readings, those were terrifying. Sir, what are your orders? His officer asked. Corvan looked at his crew. They were waiting. Trusting him. Believing in him. He couldn't run. He couldn't show fear. He was the Empire's greatest admiral. All ships, attack formation, he said. We'll hit them hard and fast. Break through their center. Destroy their flagship. Yes, sir. The Empire fleet charged forward. Engines burning bright. Weapons powered up. 250 warships screaming toward the human line. Admiral Chen's face remained on the screen. He didn't look worried. He looked sad. So be it, Chen said quietly. All ships, fire. The human fleet opened fire. The first volley hit like a hammer. Railgun slugs traveled at incredible speeds. They crossed the distance in seconds. Empire shields tried to stop them. The shields failed. The slugs punched straight through. They tore into armor, ripped through engines, destroyed power cores. 10 Empire ships exploded in the first 5 seconds. Impossible. Corvan shouted. Our shields are the strongest in the galaxy. Sir, their weapons are too powerful. The shields can't handle the kinetic energy. Another volley. 20 more ships gone. Return fire. All weapons. The Empire fleet fired back. Lasers, plasma beams, missiles. Thousands of weapons lit up space. The beams struck human shields and bounced off. The human shields shimmered blue. They absorbed everything. Energy weapons, kinetic weapons. Nothing got through. How? Corvan whispered. How are their shields so strong? Sir, analyzing their shield frequency. I don't understand it. The technology is completely different from ours. It's decades ahead. The human fleet kept firing. Steady, precise, deadly. Empire ships exploded one after another. The mighty Grand Fleet was being slaughtered. Evasive maneuvers. Scatter the fleet. Corvan ordered. The Empire ships broke formation. They spread out across space, trying to make themselves harder to hit. The human ships didn't chase them. They didn't need to. Small fighters launched from the human capital ships. Hundreds of them. Thousands. They swarmed like angry bees. Sir. Enemy fighters incoming. Launch our fighters. Engage them. Empire fighters scrambled. They flew out to meet the human craft. The two swarms collided in the middle of the battlefield. It was a massacre. The human fighters moved with perfect precision. They dodged every shot. They never missed. They flew in perfect formation. Empire pilots screamed over the radio. They're everywhere. I can't shake him. How are they so fast? One by one, Empire fighters exploded. Sir, the science officer said, his voice shaking. Those aren't human pilots. What? The reaction times, the precision, their AI, artificial intelligence. The humans are using computers to fly those fighters. Corvan felt sick. AI pilots. Perfect aim. Perfect reflexes. No fear. No mistakes. His pilots didn't stand a chance. Recall the fighters. Get them back to the ships. But it was too late. Half of them were already gone. The battle raged for 2 hours. Corvan tried everything. Every tactic he knew. Every strategy he had learned in 40 years of war. Nothing worked. The humans predicted his every move. When he tried to flank, they were waiting. When he tried to retreat, they cut off his escape. When he tried to concentrate fire, they scattered and picked his ships off one by one. It was like they could read his mind. Sir, the communications officer shouted. I'm picking up massive data transmissions between human ships. What kind of data? Battle information. Tactical analysis. They're sharing everything instantly. Every ship sees what every other ship sees. They fight as one mind. Corvan understood now. The humans weren't just technologically superior. They were connected. Networked. They fought as a single organism. The Empire fought as individuals. And they were losing. Of his 250 ships, only 70 remained. Sir, we have to retreat, his second-in-command begged. Corvan looked at the human fleet. They had lost 5 ships. Maybe 10. While the Empire had lost almost 200. He had no choice. All ships, retreat. Fall back. Maximum speed. The remaining Empire ships turned and ran. The human fleet didn't follow. They just watched. Again. Admiral Chen's face appeared on screen one last time. Tell your Emperor, Chen said. This is what happens when you ignore warnings. This is what happens when you attack Earth. We gave you a chance for peace. You chose war. Now live with the consequences. The screen went dark. 1 week later, Corvan knelt before Emperor Zarthan. The throne room was silent. The Emperor sat perfectly still. His eyes burned with rage. Speak, the Emperor said. Your Majesty, the humans, we cannot defeat them. Their technology is beyond ours. Their tactics are superior. We lost over 400 ships. I barely escaped with 70. The Emperor said nothing for a long moment. Then he stood up. 400 ships, he said quietly. 400 ships. Yes, my lord. You are telling me that the Zalthari Empire, rulers of 1,000 worlds, conquerors of 100 species, masters of the galaxy, cannot defeat one primitive planet? My lord, they are not primitive. If you saw what I saw. Enough. The Emperor's voice shook the walls. Guards stepped forward. Take him to the dungeons. Let him rot. My lord, please? The guards dragged Corvan away. Emperor Tsar then stood alone in his throne room. For the first time in his 50-year reign, he felt something he had never felt before. Doubt. But he pushed it away. He was the emperor. He could not show weakness. He called his war council. Gather every ship, he said. Every soldier. Every weapon. From every planet in the empire. My lord, that would be the entire imperial fleet. 5,000 ships. Everything we have. Yes, the emperor said coldly. We will destroy Earth. We will erase humanity from existence. And we will show the galaxy what happens when you defy the empire. The council bowed and left to prepare. Emperor Tsar then walked to his window. He looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, Earth waited. You want war? He whispered. I'll give you war. Across the empire, a call went out. Every ship, every soldier, every weapon. All of them were summoned to the capital world. The emperor had made his decision. Fleet Commander Zarketh watched as ships arrived from every corner of the empire. Battleships, cruisers, destroyers, carriers. They came from 1,000 worlds. The sky above the capital turned dark with warships. So many ships that they blocked out the sun. 5,000 vessels. The entire imperial fleet. Never before had the empire gathered all its forces in one place. Never in its 1,000-year history. This is madness, Zarketh whispered to his aide. We're leaving our borders undefended. The emperor commanded it, the aide said. We have no choice. Zarketh looked at the massive fleet. 5,000 ships. Against one planet. It should be enough. It had to be enough. But he remembered the reports from Admiral Corvan. The humans had destroyed 400 Empire ships and barely lost any of their own. What if 5,000 wasn't enough? In the throne room, Emperor Tsar then addressed his commanders. Today we march on Earth, he said. We will bring the full might of the Empire down upon them. We will burn their cities. We will break their spirit. We will show them and the entire galaxy that no one defies the Zalthari Empire. The commanders cheered. They raised their fists. They shouted for war. But some, like Zarketh, remained quiet. Worried. My emperor, an old advisor said carefully. Perhaps we should try diplomacy? One more time. The emperor's eyes turned cold. Diplomacy? They destroyed our fleets. They humiliated us. There will be no diplomacy. Only fire. Only death. The advisor bowed and said nothing more. Prepare the fleet, the emperor ordered. We leave in 3 days. And this time, I will lead them personally. The room went silent. My lord, Zarketh said. You wish to go yourself? Yes. I want to see Earth burn with my own eyes. I want to watch these humans beg for mercy. And I want them to know who destroyed them. 3 days later, the fleet departed. 5,000 ships. 10 million soldiers. The largest military force ever assembled. The emperor sat on the bridge of his flagship, the Imperial Glory. It was the biggest warship ever built. 20 miles long. Weapons that could crack a planet's crust. Behind him stretched his endless fleet. Ship after ship after ship. A river of steel flowing through space. Send a message to Earth, the emperor said. I want them to know we're coming. His communications officer nodded. A moment later, the message was sent. It was broadcast across all frequencies. Every human receiver would pick it up. People of Earth. This is Emperor Xarian of the Zalthari Empire. You have attacked our fleets. You have killed our soldiers. For this you will pay. We are coming with 5,000 warships. We will destroy your world. Surrender now and we will make your deaths quick. Resist, and you will suffer beyond imagination. You have 24 hours to respond. The message ended. The emperor smiled. Now we wait for them to beg. 20 minutes later, a response came from Earth. It was not a surrender. It was not a plea for mercy. It was 3 words. Come and try. The bridge erupted in anger. Officers shouted. Soldiers cursed. How dare they? One commander roared. The emperor, however, smiled wider. Good. I was hoping they would resist. Dying is too easy for them. I want them to fight. I want them to struggle. And then I want them to lose everything. My lord will crush them, another officer said. Yes, the emperor agreed. Yes, we will. The fleet traveled for 5 days. They moved slowly. There was no rush. They wanted the humans to fear, to wait, to dread what was coming. On the 6th day they reached the Sol system. Sir, entering human home system, the navigator reported. Emperor Tsar then stood up. He walked to the main window. In the distance he could see the small blue planet. So tiny. So weak. Soon it would be ash. All ships, battle formation. Prepare to. Alarms blared. Sir. Detecting massive energy signatures. What? Where? Everywhere, my lord. The moons. The asteroids. The space stations. They're all armed. On the tactical display, red dots appeared. Hundreds of them. Thousands. Every moon in the system had weapons. Every large asteroid had cannons mounted on it. Dozens of space stations orbited Earth, all bristling with guns. They've turned their entire solar system into a fortress, Zarketh whispered. But that wasn't all. Sir. Human fleet detected. 300 ships, taking defensive positions around Earth. The Emperor watched the human ships move into formation. They were outnumbered nearly 17 to 1. But somehow they didn't look scared. My lord, a young officer said nervously. Perhaps we should reconsider? Reconsider? The Emperor spun around. We have 5,000 ships. They have 300. We will not reconsider. We will attack. Yes, my lord. Deep inside, Zarketh felt a chill. Something was wrong. The humans should be panicking, running, begging. Instead they were calm, ready. Like they had been expecting this. Like they had planned for this. Sir, receiving another message from Earth. Play it. Admiral Chen's face appeared. The same human admiral from before. Emperor Zarthan. You've made a mistake. You brought your entire fleet here. Every ship you have. If you lose here, your empire falls. We will not lose to primitives, the Emperor shouted at the screen. Admiral Chen shook his head slowly. We gave you warnings. We gave you chances to leave. You ignored them all. Now, you will learn why humanity survived for thousands of years on a death world. Why we climb to the top of our food chain. Why we never give up. Why we never surrender. Chen leaned forward. Welcome to Earth, Emperor. We've been waiting for you. The transmission ended. For a moment there was silence on the bridge. Then the Emperor roared, all ships. Destroy them all. 5,000 Imperial warships surged forward. Earth's defenses activated. The final battle had begun. 5,000 Imperial warships charged toward Earth. Emperor Zarthan watched from his flagship. His heart pounded with excitement. Soon Earth would burn. First wave advance, he ordered. 1,000 ships broke away from the main fleet. They rushed toward Earth's outer defenses. Target their space stations. Destroy everything, the Emperor commanded. The first wave opened fire. Thousands of energy beams shot toward the human stations. Then, everything exploded. Space mines. Thousands of them. Hidden throughout the system. Invisible until activated. The first wave flew straight into the minefield. Boom, 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 boom. Explosions erupted everywhere. Ships crashed into each other. Metal twisted. Fire bloomed in the darkness. In 30 seconds, 200 Imperial ships were gone. Shields up. Evasive action, commanders screamed across the fleet. But the mines kept exploding. They were everywhere. Following the ships. Hunting them. Smart mines. AI controlled. They chased their targets. Another 100 ships destroyed. Sir. We've lost 300 ships already, an officer reported. The Emperor's fists clenched. Push through. They can't have infinite mines. The remaining ships of the first wave continued forward. They cleared the minefield. 700 ships survived. See, the Emperor said. Their tricks won't save them. Continue the attack. The 700 ships approached Earth's moon. Weapons platforms sat on the surface. Giant railguns pointing up at space. The moon fired. Massive metal slugs launched into space. Each one moving at incredible speed. Each one the size of a building. They struck the Imperial fleet like hammers. Ships exploded. Armor shattered. Whole sections of vessels were torn away. Return fire. Destroy that moon, a commander shouted. Imperial ships fired at the lunar weapons. Beams struck the surface. Explosions ripped across the moon's face. The railguns kept firing. They're underground, the science officer said. The guns are protected by hundreds of meters of rock. More ships fell. The first wave was being torn apart. Second wave advance. Support them, the Emperor ordered. Another 1,000 ships rushed forward. Admiral Chen watched from Earth's command center. First wave holding position, an officer reported. Losses, 400 Imperial ships. Good, Chen said calmly. Activate the outer defense grid. Across the solar system, hidden platforms powered up. Laser satellites. Missile stations. plasma cannons. They all fired at once. The Imperial fleet suddenly found itself in a crossfire. Attacks coming from every direction. How many defenses do they have? An Imperial captain screamed. The answer, a lot. Earth had spent 50 years preparing for this. Building, planning, waiting. Every asteroid, every satellite, every piece of space junk. All of it was armed. Third wave advance, the Emperor roared. Crush them with numbers. Another 1,000 ships joined the battle. 3,000 Imperial vessels now fighting in Earth's system. Then the human fleet attacked. 300 ships against 3,000. Impossible odds. But the humans didn't fight fair. Small fighters launched from the human capital ships. Not hundreds. Not thousands. Tens of thousands. The sky turned black with fighters. Each one controlled by AI. Perfect aim. Perfect reflexes. They swarmed the Imperial fleet like locusts. Launch fighters. Engage them. Imperial commanders ordered. Empire fighters scrambled. They met the human swarm in the middle. It was a slaughter. Human AI fighters moved in perfect coordination. They flew in patterns. Weaving. Dancing. Each one supporting the others. Imperial pilots fought bravely. But they were just flesh and blood. Against machines they had no chance. Fighter after fighter exploded. Pull back the fighters. Zarketh shouted. They're being massacred. But it was too late. Half the Imperial fighter corps was already gone. The human fighters turned their attention to the capital ships. They dove in, firing at engines and weapon systems. Precision strikes. Surgical cuts. Imperial ships began to malfunction. Engines failed. Weapons went offline. Shields collapsed. And then the human capital ships moved in for the kill. Their railguns fired. Again and again. Each shot perfectly aimed. Each shot destroying a crippled Imperial vessel. The battle raged for 3 hours. Both sides took heavy losses. The space around Earth was filled with debris. Burning ships. Bodies. The Empire had lost over 1,000 ships. Earth had lost 50. This is impossible, Zarketh whispered. We outnumber them 10 to 1. How are we losing? Emperor Zarthan's face was red with rage. All ships. Focus fire on Earth itself. If we can't beat their fleet, we'll destroy their planet. My lord, no. Zarketh said. If we do that. Do it. 2,000 Imperial ships turned their weapons toward the blue planet. Every gun. Every missile. Everything. They fired. A wall of energy descended toward Earth. Admiral Chin pressed a button on his console. Activate the Soul Cannon. In orbit around the sun, a massive structure powered up. It had been built in secret. Hidden behind solar flares. Disguised as a research station. The Soul Cannon. It collected the sun's energy. Focused it. Concentrated it into a single devastating beam. The weapon charged. Brighter. Brighter. So bright it hurt to look at. Then it fired. A beam of pure solar energy shot across space. It was massive. Miles wide. Hotter than anything in the universe except the sun itself. It struck the center of the Imperial fleet. 1,000 ships. Gone. Instantly. Vaporized. Not even debris remained. Just empty space where they used to be. The shockwave knocked other ships away. Hundreds more damaged. Systems failing. Crews dead. The Emperor stared in horror. What was that? My lord. Zarketh's voice shook. They weaponized their star. Half the Imperial fleet. Gone in one shot. My lord, we must retreat. Zarketh begged. We cannot win. We've lost too much. For the first time the Emperor felt fear. Real true fear. All ships. His voice cracked. Retreat. Fall back. Now. The remaining Imperial ships turned and ran. Engines burning at maximum. Desperate to escape. Admiral Chin watched them go. Should we pursue, sir? An officer asked. Chin shook his head. No. Let them run. Let them tell the galaxy what happened here today. Emperor Zarthan sat in his damaged throne room. Of 5,000 ships, only 2,000 made it back. 3,000 lost. 6 million soldiers dead. The Empire's military was broken. But the Emperor was not done. Prepare the reserve fleets, he said quietly. Gather what remains. We will rebuild. And then? My lord? An aide asked carefully. The Emperor's eyes burned with hate. Then we finish this. Even if I have to destroy Earth with my bare hands. 3 months passed. Emperor Zarthan sat in his rebuilt throne room. His face was thin. His eyes were tired. The defeat at Earth had broken something inside him. But he would not give up. Never. Report, he said to Fleet Commander Zarketh. My lord, we have rebuilt our forces. 1,000 new ships. Not as many as before, but strong enough to defend our borders. Good, the Emperor said. And the humans? No sign of them, my lord. They remain in their system. They haven't left Earth since the battle. The Emperor allowed himself a small smile. They're afraid. They won the battle, but they fear retaliation. As they should. My lord, perhaps we should leave them alone? Focus on rebuilding? The Emperor's eyes turned cold. Leave them alone? After they humiliated us? After they destroyed our fleet? Never. Once we're strong enough, we attack again. Zarketh said nothing. He knew arguing was useless. But the Emperor was wrong. The humans weren't afraid. They weren't hiding. They were planning. In Earth's war room, Admiral Chen stood before a holographic map of the galaxy. The Empire is weak, he said to his officers. They lost 3,000 ships. Their defenses are scattered. Their colonies are unprotected. What are you suggesting, sir? A young captain asked. Chen's eyes were hard. We warned them. We gave them chances to leave us alone. They refused. They attacked our homes. Our families. Now we show them what happens when you make an enemy of humanity. He pressed a button. The hologram changed. It showed Empire territory. Dozens of planets. Hundreds of colonies. We're not waiting for them to rebuild. We're taking the fight to them. The room fell silent. Sir, another officer said carefully. That would mean invasion. We'd be the aggressors. No, Shin said firmly. We're finishing what they started. They wanted war. We'll give them war. On our terms. He pointed to several planets on the map. These are their outer colonies. Lightly defended. We'll strike here first. Show them they're not safe anywhere. And if they surrender? Someone asked. Chen's expression softened slightly. Then we stop. We're not monsters. We'll accept surrender. But if they keep fighting? His voice turned cold again. We keep pushing. All the way to their capital if we have to. 2 weeks later, Emperor Tsar then received terrible news. My lord, the humans, they're attacking. What? The Emperor stood up. Where? Everywhere. They've hit 5 outer colonies in the last 3 days. Our defenses couldn't stop them. Send ships. Defend those colonies. We tried, my lord. By the time our ships arrive, the humans are already gone. The Emperor's face went pale. What do you mean gone? They attack fast. Destroy our military installations. Then leave before we can respond. Hit and run tactics, my lord. Over the next month, the pattern continued. Human ships appeared. Struck hard. Disappeared. 10 colonies attacked. 20. 30. The Empire tried to respond. But the humans were too fast. Too precise. They knew exactly where to hit and when. How? The Emperor screamed. How do they know where our defenses are weak? My lord, we think they've been watching us. For years. They've mapped our entire territory. They know everything about us. The Emperor felt sick. The humans had been preparing for this war long before it started. 3 months after the Battle of Earth, the humans reached the Empire's mid-rim colonies. These were more important worlds. More heavily defended. The Empire sent major fleets to protect them. It didn't matter. The human fleet had upgraded. They had captured Empire technology from the battles. Studied it. Improved it. Combined it with their own. Now they were even stronger than before. Imperial fleets that went to fight them never came back. My lord, Zarketh said quietly, we've lost 50 colonies. Our fleet is down to 600 ships. The humans, they're coming. Coming where? Zarketh pointed at the map. At a single planet. The capital. The Emperor's home world. Here, my lord. They're coming here. 1 week later it happened. The human fleet appeared in orbit around the Empire's capital. Not 300 ships this time. 500. They had built more. Faster than anyone thought possible. Emperor Tsar then stood on his balcony. He looked up at the sky. At the human ships circling above like vultures. Launch every ship we have, he said quietly. Every soldier. Every weapon. Defend the capital. 600 Imperial ships rose to meet the humans. The battle lasted 1 hour. The Empire lost. Emperor Tsar then sat on his throne as human soldiers entered his palace. They didn't kill anyone. They disarmed the guards. Secured the building. Professional. Efficient. Cold. Admiral Chen walked into the throne room. He looked at the Emperor. It's over, Chen said simply. You'll Execute me? The emperor asked. No. We're not like you. You'll stand trial. For war crimes. For the millions you killed. You'll face justice. Justice? The emperor laughed bitterly. I am the emperor. I am justice. You were the emperor, Qin corrected. Now you're just a war criminal. Human soldiers took him away. The emperor of 1,000 worlds, dragged from his throne in chains. Across the galaxy word spread. The Zalthari Empire had fallen. The species they conquered were freed. Slavery ended. Oppression stopped. And humanity stood at the center of it all. Admiral Qin broadcast a message to every world in the galaxy. This is Admiral Qin of Earth. The war is over. The Empire has surrendered. To all species watching this, Earth does not seek to rule you. We do not want an empire. We want peace. We want to be left alone. But know this, if you threaten us, if you attack us, if you harm our people, we will respond. And we will not stop until the threat is eliminated. We gave the Empire warnings. Many warnings. They ignored them all. You saw what happened. Learn from their mistake. Leave Earth alone. Leave humanity alone. And we will leave you alone. But cross us, and you will face our wrath. The message ended. Throughout the galaxy, species heard it, understood it, feared it. Earth, the small blue planet, had defeated the mightiest empire in known space. No one would ever underestimate humanity again. Years later, on Earth, Admiral Qin stood in a memorial garden. Thousands of names were carved into black stone. Humans who died defending their world. Soldiers, pilots, civilians. A young reporter approached him. Admiral, people want to know. Do you think we did the right thing? Going on the offensive? Attacking the Empire? Qin was quiet for a long moment. They were warned, he said finally. We gave them every chance to walk away. They chose war. We didn't start this fight, but we finished it. He looked up at the stars. And now the galaxy knows. Humanity is not prey. We are not victims. We are survivors. We are warriors. And we protect our own. No matter the cost? No matter the cost.